And for more, we're welcoming in our panel tonight. We have David Carlucci, former Democratic New York State Senator, and Paul Renner, Republican candidate for governor in Florida and the former Speaker of the Florida House. Welcome both. It's good to have you here. David, why don't we start with you? You hear the president say that the GOP will have an election integrity army in every state. What do you hear?
Well, it's hard to know what that really means, particularly coming from the president when he makes these vague statements. However, I hope it means that it's making sure that people have the opportunity to vote. But unfortunately, what we've seen from the president, that is not what he's interested in. This race to the bottom with redistricting. And this was started by the president asking Texas and then other states to do mid-cycle redistricting for the sole purpose of making sure that they elect Republicans. This is their strategy. It's not a message that wins with voters. It's not about how do we make things affordable or keep us safe. It's simply, hey, how do we redraw the lines? Because we know we're failing in polling and we know we're failing in every special election that we've had. So the only option they have is to redraw the lines, redraw the game, and hope that they can draw these lines in the most gerrymandered way and partisan way. And it's unfortunate because Democrats are not just going to sit back. They're going to do the same. And this is a horrible precedent, a race to the bottom. And I'm hopeful voters will demand that we have independent redistricting. And hopefully this is so bad that it turns Americans out to say, what is this redistricting? What is this gerrymandering? We've had enough, and demand that our politicians change it.
Yeah, Paul, what is your take? Is this a race to the bottom?
Well, look, I mean, I don't think anybody can clutch their pearls. It's happening in Virginia, California, and obviously here in my home state of Florida. The difference is if you look at the maps in Virginia versus Florida, Florida's look like squares and rectangles. It looks like a normally drawn map, whereas in Virginia, it looks like a bunch of snakes emanating from large urban areas. And so the Calais decision that the Supreme Court rendered is the correct decision with respect to the 14th and 15th Amendments to make sure that we're not using race to draw district lines. And as Justice Roberts said, the best way to end racial discrimination is to stop discriminating based on race. And that's what we're doing here in Florida and in other parts of the country.
David, a lot of Americans hear gerrymandering and redistricting and their eyes glaze over. What's at stake here?
Yeah, what's at stake here is that we have less competitive districts, that voters don't have as much of a say, that these lines are drawn in a way that special interests have power, that the extremes, whether it's in the Republican or the Democratic Party, depending on how these districts are drawn, those extremes have all the power. In fact, we have probably less than a handful of districts. Out of the 435 members of Congress, we have a handful of districts that might actually be competitive, meaning a Republican or a Democrat could win. The rest of these districts are decided through primaries, are decided through who the extremes in the parties want. And unfortunately, that's the case. When I say extremes, we see this. This is data that backs this up, that in our primaries, it's the most motivated in those parties come out to vote. And unfortunately, we have many states that have these closed primaries as well, where you don't have an opportunity to vote in the primary unless you're enrolled in that party. So it's taking away people's power in that vote. And that's why it is a race to the bottom.
I appreciate that, David. Very quickly, Paul, for those voters who want lower gas prices, who are interested in lower inflation, what is your message to lawmakers who are so zeroed in, who are so focused on this gerrymandering issue right now?
Well, my message to the Florida legislature has been clear, is they need to get after taxes, property taxes in our state, property insurance, electric bills. This is, as I campaign across the state, a number 1, 2, and 3 issue is affordability. People want the cost of living going down. Now, with respect to gas prices, obviously, I believe that's a temporary situation with the Iran war, and those will come down when the war ends. But beyond that, we still have major problems across the country. People can't keep up with their income, simply not keeping up with the cost of things.
Absolutely. Paul Renner, David Carlucci, appreciate you both. Thank you so much.
Good.
We'll be right back.